Good evening, all. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so we were talking about Article 14, right? So Article 14, we were seeing the exceptions to Article 14. So I was about to take class from the institute. So in between, while I came out, I got drenched in the rain. Okay, so I have to come back to home in order to change the dress. Okay, so that is why this delay. Okay, otherwise it would have been time. Okay, so I think this is the last slide which we were discussing civil and criminal law. Okay, so what are the exceptions to Article 14? Are you able to view the slide? The president and the governor. The exemption is the president and the governor. First, we are having right to equality. So the president, prime minister, as well as common man, all of them will be treated in the same way. Yes, it's true. But we must remember that we have a similar treatment, not identical treatment. We cannot expect the same treatment, exactly identical treatment for all, because the president and the prime minister, they contribute a lot to the society. So they have to be given certain privileges. So that is why we have exemption to Article 14. The president and governor has certain exemption. What are the exemptions? We will see. See, please take notes as and when I dictate. Don't try to copy down everything immediately, because whatever I speak, you will not be able to listen. Okay, the purpose of having the PPT is, in order to easily grasp, in case if spelling and all, if you want a doubt. So that is the purpose of that. So listen parallelly, you take notes. Okay, fine. So similar treatment, not identical treatment. So before saying why criminal proceedings cannot be initiated against them during the tenure, we must know about what is the role of the president and governor. First, the role of president is that he should ensure smooth transfer of power, because we know that the prime minister is all powerful. When the real powers are vested with the prime minister, why should we have the president over and above the prime minister? So the president is there to ensure that whenever the prime minister loses the power, whenever the prime minister loses majority in the Lok Sabha, the president will issue an order to remove the prime minister and reinstall the new prime minister who has the support of the people. For example, now Donald Trump is saying that he will not vacate the White House, even though he's trailing substantially. And logically, even if he wins in North Carolina, Joe Biden is leading in other 3 states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and other states. So naturally, he will get the required number. So it's almost confirmed, but he's saying that we will go for a legal battle. And he says that I will not vacate. This is a problem because the president is all powerful in USA. President has the control of army. President has the control of the bureaucrats. So 4 years of service, and in USA there is a system called a spoiled system, which means when you're elected as the president, automatically what happens is that you can appoint your own people. 30% of the government seats will be reserved for the president. It's called a spoil system. Okay, so they can appoint their own people. So now most of them inside White House are Donald Trump's representatives. So that is why he's saying that I will not vacate the White House. So the same thing should not happen in India. When the Prime Minister loses the election, when the Prime Minister also loses the majority, he should be immediately changed. That is why we have a president over and above the Prime Minister. Now, just consider a situation that the Prime Minister has lost the majority. The Prime Minister also lost the election. Now, President is about to issue an order stating that the Prime Minister is going to be removed. Now, the Prime Minister can use his Home Minister, and the Delhi police is under the Prime Minister. So they can send the police to the President office, file some criminal case, and arrest him so that he is not able to issue the order to remove the person. So that is why the first provision is there. Criminal proceedings cannot be initiated against them during their tenure, because the Prime Minister may arrest the president, the chief minister may arrest the governor in order to ensure they are not doing their constitutional duty. That is the plain reason. Okay, so that is why president and governor will not be arrested during their tenure. See, when a criminal case is filed, arrest can be made. Even if your crime is not proved, if you are being charged with a criminal act, just for interrogation purposes, the person can be arrested. So just by filing a case, we can arrest the president and keep him inside the prison. We should not be bothered with that problem. So that is why the president and governor cannot be arrested at all. No criminal proceedings, because as already we saw, civil cases, no arrest, but criminal cases, there will be imprisonment. Fine. Now, civil cases can be initiated with notice period of 2 months. Why civil cases can be initiated? That is because civil cases does not result in imprisonment, and we have equal subjection of law. So all the people in India, all the citizens will be subjected equally to the law. So in case there is a civil case, it can be initiated against the president and governor, but 2 months notice period can be given. Now, as I told you, a civil case can be settled outside the court of law. So if somebody is filing a frivolous case or a wrong case on the president and governor, they can go and speak with the people in order to sort out the case, because sometimes by filing numerous civil cases, you can defame the president. So 2 months notice is given to the president. In 2 months, he can resolve the civil issues, ensure that the president office is not getting any defamation or the reputation of the office is not going down. At the same time, they'll be subjected to civil case. Now you may ask this question, sir, criminal proceedings cannot be initiated. Okay. What if the president is involving in a murder case? Personally, he is getting angry and murdering someone. So our president is very silent, very good person, but just assume that the president involves in killing, okay, of another person. Whether the case will be initiated or not, that is where during their tenure, this is the key word. The president and governor shall not be subjected to any criminal proceeding during their tenure. So if they're involving in criminal proceeding, they can be removed from the office, impeached, and then criminal proceeding can be initiated. So during their office, there no criminal proceedings will be initiated. We'll wait. After the tenure is over, we will initiate the criminal proceeding. So that is what I did. Similar treatment, not identical treatment. If the tenure has longer period, for example, the president has done the crime in the first year of his office and 4 years has to go. Should we wait for 4 years? That is why we have impeachment of president. We will impeach the president, ask the president to move out. Okay. And then once his tenure is been impeached, then the criminal proceedings will be initiated. So that is why I talked about the logic. Basically, if the president can be arrested, he cannot do his duty to ensure his independent duty, to ensure that he's functioning efficiently and ensure that the constitution is safeguarded. There is a smooth transfer of power. We should not arrest the president and governor while they're in office. Later, they can be subject to any issues. Now, third point, no arrest proceedings shall be initiated. There is a concept called as preventive detention. Even if you don't do the criminal act, just because you are involving in a political issue, just they can say that, preventive detention, we are arresting you. To ensure that, you are not doing crime in the future, we are arresting you. Like that, the prime minister can say and arrest the president. So no arrest proceedings in any case shall be initiated against the president. Then next is they are not answerable in the court of law for the decisions taken under their official duty. So this is the point number D, actually. They are not answerable in the court of law for decisions taken under their official duty. Okay. So I would like to quote the recent example of Madras High Court's branch in Madurai. The governor refused to give consent for 7.5 reservation for people who have studied in government schools in NEET. 7.5% reservation. He did not say yes. So what happened is a case was filed in the Madurai High Court. The Madurai High Court is the seat of Madras High Court. Now the judges said that we cannot ask the governor to explain why he is delaying to give assent. But they said that, we don't know why the governor is taking a lot of time. But constitutionally, the High Court or the judiciary cannot ask the governor to explain his action, to explain his decision. Okay, so they requested the governor to do accordingly. So constitutionally, governor is powerful. The judiciary said that we cannot issue an order to give explanation. Fine. So that is the point. They are not answerable. Now you may ask a question. So there are many instances in which the governor's decision has been nullified. There are many instances in which the president's order has been nullified by the court of law. Is it not answerable in the court of law? See, there are two different things. Checking the validity of presidential decision or governor decision is completely different. Answering in the court of law is different. Supposing president and governor is making a decision and it is against the constitution, the order can be nullified. But the governor and president cannot be asked to come to the court of law and explain why they have taken the decision. Because sometimes what is politically correct may not be legally correct. What is politically correct may not be legally correct. So if judiciary has to ask the question, if governor has to explain, the governor has to reveal some secrets of what is happening in the state. So governors and presidents should be given freedom for why they have taken the decision. And moreover, we must remember that president and governor does not decide by themselves. They listen to the aid and advice of prime minister and chief minister respectively. So the real decisions are made by the prime minister and chief minister. And if you are going to ask explanation to the president governor, it will not be fine. And moreover, if court is asking explanation, if you allow the court to ask explanation, the president and governor office will be subordinate to the judiciary. But president and governor office is the most important office. President is the head of the country. Governor is the head of this specific state. So these offices should not be affected. Their fame should not be defamed. So that is why we have this provision. Okay, they are not answerable in the court of law, but decision taken under the official duty. Now, very important, decision taken under official duty. What do we mean by this decision taken under the official duty? Supposing, let us assume that the president is going in his car, and on the way, suddenly there is some problem, so he has to halt the car. And he's just viewing outside the window. He finds that person A is murdering person B. Now the case is going in the court of law. Can the president be asked to come to the court of law and act as an eyewitness? Make a guess. I just want you to answer now. President is witnessing the eyewitness, a murder issue. So now can he act as an eyewitness? Just try now. Good. Yes, yes. I'm getting more answers telling that yes. Some are also saying no. Okay, good. Why he can act as an eyewitness is because he is not answering for the decisions he taken as under his official duty. Now it is a duty of every citizen to act as an eyewitness when they are witness of a crime. Only exception is, instead of asking the president and governor to come to the court of law, court will go to the president house. The court will go to the governor's place and take the advice, take the statement. But if the president and governor has taken a decision under their official duty for government, they're taken a decision, they cannot be questioned by the court of law, and they need not answer also. Even if the court is asking a question, they are not answerable in the court of law. Okay, so I think now you have understood this exemption. The next is exemption for lawmakers, the next one. Yeah, anyone can be forced. There is one question that is asked. Anyone can be forced to be a witness in any case. Yes, but president is, in a very powerful position, no? So he has all security and everything. So no need to worry for him. He can easily manage. Okay, but here the provision is for their official duty they cannot. Yes, Sri Lakshmi, you can unmute and speak.
Sir, but in case if I am witnessing a murder or something, can court ask me to come and forcefully ask me to come and give my statement on that? No, right? It's my jurisdiction. I mean, it's my wish as to whether I need to go and give a statement.
True. Agreed. But the question is whether the president voluntarily can go and give eyewitness. See, answerable means the court is asking the president, see, you have witness, so please come and act as an eyewitness. They can ask. But in official duty, they can't even ask. The judiciary can't even question the president or the governor to come and give explanation. So that is why I gave you the example of Madurai bench of Madras High Court. They themselves said that we cannot say the governor is delaying the decision. Yes, even in the release of 7 prisoners who are convicted in the Rajiv Gandhi's murder case, our former prime minister. In that case also, the governor is delaying for 2 years. He has gone to Delhi. Yesterday he met the prime minister. They are talking about what should be done. And the elections is coming. So now the point is whether the governor can be questioned for his decision by the judiciary? No. But only if it is an official action. For other things, he can be questioned. For example, civil case, similar to civil case. Supposing the governor is or the president is having a personal dispute, property dispute with this brother or sister. Now, judiciary can come and ask question, and the president and governor is answerable because it is a personal issue. Only when it is a decision taken under the official duty is not questionable. Good. Okay, there is another question. Okay, can we quote these examples, 7.5% seats and Rajiv Gandhi case in paper? Yes, of course you can quote. You can quote. The examples now I give, you can quote because you're not critical about the government. You're just giving the example of what the governor did and what the judiciaries did. We are not criticizing the governor's decision. We are just giving an example. Governor has delayed it. And now whether court can issue an order to give explanation, court cannot issue an order. That's all. We are not taking stands here. Whether the governor should release the persons, whether the governor should accept, whether the government should reject the decision. We are not taking opinion on that. So to just give an example that the court as well as the governor goes by the constitution, we can give that example, not a problem. Okay, so let me complete this part and then I'll take questions. Okay, there is a question: if the governor becomes corrupt, and will he be questioned after his tenure? Yes, yes. Corruption is a criminal act. Governor will be questioned. Okay. So the next exemption is exemption for lawmakers. The next exemption is exemption for lawmakers. They are not answerable to the court of law for what they say and vote. Please once again listen and then take notes. Don't be busy in taking or copying down the PPT. That will affect your understanding. Okay, they are not answerable to the court of law for what they say and vote. Which means court cannot ask to give an explanation, asking the MP and MLA to come and give explanation for their action. Now just imagine a situation where the MPs and MLAs are involving in violence inside the house. We saw the last parliamentary session when it ended, the last 3 days in Rajya Sabha, the MPs were removing the mic and throwing it out to the speaker. There was many instances in which they have used chili powder. If they don't like the opposition party members, they throw the chili powder on their face. Okay. And after this incident, one company came out with the pepper spray. Okay. Without harming yourself, you can just spray it on the other people. Okay. Now, when the MPs and MLAs are involving in a crime, the MPs and MLAs are involved in a physical assault inside the house, whether they're not answerable to the court of law or they're answerable to the court of law. They are answerable to the court of law because the exemption, that is why I've underlined and bold the word, they are exempted. They are not answerable to the court of law for what they say and vote. They're not answerable to the court of law for what they say and vote. Fine. So we know that for physical assault, for other issues, they can be questioned in the court of law. But there has been many instances where they have involved in some other acts apart from what saying and voting, but still the speakers have defended the action. That is different. Okay, fine. Now, can they say anything and everything inside the house? Because we are saying when an ordinary citizen says something, he will be filed with defamation case. You and I, if we talk something bad, unbecoming, a case can be filed, defamation case can be filed. Okay, and you may be even imprisoned, you may be asked to pay the fine. But if MLAs and MPs are speaking something inside the session, okay, they are not answerable to the court of law. So can we control? Is there any mechanism to control their speak? Yes. When the MPs and MLAs is saying something which is unbecoming, unparliamentary, the speaker can expunge the remarks. Expunge. What is the meaning of expunge? It means remove the remarks from the record. People say that because the future MPs and MLAs can quote, earlier the MLA and MP spoke like this and you agreed, the speaker agreed. So I will speak similarly. You have not removed the speech from the record. And moreover, everything said in the parliament is recorded. So future thing, it is a record. So when you allow for bad speech, that will be repeated again and again in the house. So when something said unbecomingly, it will be removed from the record, expunged from the record. And the speaker also can take action. He can suspend the MLA, suspend the MP, so that the MPs will control their tongue. They will not say whatever they want. Judicial action is not possible, but the speaker can act. Speaker can control the MPs and MLAs what they're saying. And very important, what if the MP and MLA is coming out of the parliament and he's in a public meeting, he's speaking something bad? Is there any control on that? Yes. They are not answerable to the court of law only for what they are speaking inside the house and during the session. So they can be subjected to questioning by the court of law. A case can be filed against them if they are saying something bad, unparliamentary, outside the house and outside the session. Because sometimes, our people are very smart. When you say that, within the house, the MPs and MLAs may go into the house, he'll call the media inside, and then they will give a speech, bad speech. Okay, so we have to be very specific in the instructions. So within the house and during the session, when the parliament session is going on, they are given this protection. Now, you may ask, sir, why this exemption should be given to them? Why can't we question for their speeches inside the parliament? If you allow for filing of case for whatever they say inside the parliament, there'll be a lot of cases filed against them. And the ruling party can easily file a lot of cases. So when a lot of cases file, one point of time, you will be frustrated and the MP will never ask a question. So that is why they are saying they are exempted to whatever they say, to ensure that independent functioning of the MP and MLA without a fear to answer the court of law. And there are many instances, even criminal cases, like what I said with the president and governor. If a particular ruling party does not like a opposition party member, usually they'll file a lot of cases on the opposition. And that too, first 5 years of rule, people will not involve in that. Because if there is a change in the presidentship or change in the prime ministership, the opposition party may take revenge. But if there is a government for a longer period of time, in order to stifle the voice of opposition, they will do all sorts of things. They'll file a lot of cases, okay, even defamation case, so that the individual is not able to speak against the government. Now, if you want the MP and MLA to speak independently, without fear or favor, we have to ensure this provision. And that is why this exception is there. Okay. Now, we know that whatever they say is regulated by the speaker. So what about their voting? Their voting is regulated by anti-defection law. Okay, what is defection? Jumping from one political party to another political party. Suppose you have got elected from a political party, and in between you are jumping to another political party. That is called as defection. In Karnataka it happened. In Madhya Pradesh it happened. In Maharashtra it happened. So that is not appropriate. It's not right. So voting is regulated by anti-defection law. What is anti-defection law? Everything will be explained later when we come to parliament. Right now, the point is the voting of the MLA and MP is regulated by anti-defection law. Then Article 31C, the next exemption is Article 31C. It says that whenever Article 39B and C is implemented, Article 14 and 19 will be exempted. Take note, I'll explain. Okay. Article 31C says that whenever Article 39B and 39C is implemented, Article 14 and 19 will be exempted. What is Article 39B and 39C? We have already seen this. Can anybody tell me? Because we have repeatedly saw these two articles. So let me see whether you are remembering. And so it's very important article also. (39B) is equitable distribution of resources, and 39C is prevention of concentration of wealth. So good that some of you have answered. Good. 39B is equitable distribution of resources. 39C is prevention of concentration of wealth. And these two laws are there to provide social equality. Okay, in India, we had zamindari system. Because of that high inequality. So how to address the problem of social inequality? First, reorganize the land ownership. So 39B and C will create a lot of land reforms and property related issues. So definitely Article 14 and 19 is going to be violated. Article 14 as well as 19 will be violated. What is Article 14? Article 14 is right to equality. Article 19 specifically is right to occupation. There are six freedoms, but right now just imagine it is right to occupation. So whenever we are implementing 39B and 39C, Article 14 and 19 will be violated. Even though it is violated, it will be considered as exemption to Article 14 and 19. It will be considered as exemption to Article 14 and 19. Okay. Why it has to be extended? Because the government needs to change the backwardness in India, social and economic backwardness in India. So for that, government has to take a lot of action. When the government is taking, fundamental rights will be affected. So definitely there will be a problem. To avoid this problem, they are introducing 31C. That is, it's introduced by Indira Gandhi, telling that whenever 39B and C is implemented, Article 14 and 19 will be exempted. Okay. The next exemption is diplomatic immunity. Who is a diplomat? Those people who are conducting relations between states. So if there is India and USA, the person who is in charge of India-US relation is called as a diplomat. And those people who are working under the international organizations, they are also called as diplomat. They are also called as diplomat. Now, the diplomatic immunity is absolute immunity. In polity, whenever I say the word absolute, it means 100%. No exemptions, no restrictions. So when I say absolute immunity, they are given immunity under both civil as well as criminal case. For president and governor, we know the immunity is only for criminal case. not for the civil case. But for diplomats, it's both criminal, civil and criminal case. I'll tell you the examples so that you will understand. In United Nations, no, every September there will be General Assembly. Okay, so diplomats from across the nations will come. And there is a complaint by the US government always, because the United Nations in New York, the diplomats will park their car wherever they want. Now, even a ticket for parking cannot be given, issued against the diplomats. Okay. So that is the intents of the diplomatic immunity. Now, you may ask, sir, then if that is the problem, why are they having diplomatic immunity? See, what is the reason for having diplomats? In order to maintain friendly relation with all countries, even with unfriendly country. After Second World War, they thought that, the main reason for war is not communicating. Everywhere this is the problem. If there is a problem, there is lack of communication. So if there is war, it is because lack of communication. So if something is happening, immediately if you are able to talk to the government, then you can diffuse the tension easily. So it is more important to have diplomats in unfriendly countries than friendly countries. I'm saying more important. In all countries, it is more important. But when we compare, it is important to have diplomats in unfriendly countries. Say for India, Pakistan, today there is a news that there is a tense situation. Pakistan has attacked India and India is responding to it. Okay, so the details is not out there, but our army people are fighting the borders to defend our sovereignty. Okay, let's pray that our people win and ensure that Pakistan is taught a good lesson, not to repeat the same thing. But the point is, when this struggle is going on, now Indian government can call Pakistani diplomat and ask why, what has happened there, what is your government's intention. And Pakistan army may wrongly report that India only initiated the attack. Chances are there. Okay, India only initiated the attack, like that they can say. So Pakistani government may be angry with India. So Pakistani government can call the Indian diplomat and ask, what is your government stand? Now Pakistani government can be explained by Indian diplomat that this is why we retaliated. Your people fired at it first, so we retaliated. This is the situation. Ask your army to be controlled. Okay, not to fire a shot anymore. So the civilian government can be communicated. So our version also will be here there. So the Pakistani government can take appropriate decision. Likewise, Indian government also can take appropriate decision. So if you don't have absolute immunity on the diplomats, no diplomat will be working in the unfriendly country. Because whenever there is a problem, immediately the first person to be attacked will be the diplomat and the embassy. So if embassy is protected, diplomat is protected, automatically people will be ready to work in the unfriendly countries also. Maximum thing the Pakistani government can do is, in case of a war or difficult situation, they'll ask you please go to your own country. No action, no arrest. They can ask the Indian diplomat to come back to India, go back to India. The Pakistani diplomat can be asked to go back to Pakistan. But no other action can be taken. So we will encourage the officers to work even in unfriendly countries. Now, there was once, there is a bomb blast near the Indian embassy in Afghanistan. My friend was working there. Okay, what makes people to work there is because they have the diplomatic immunity and all the protection. So in case of India, there is a place called as Chanakyapuri for diplomatic relations. All the embassies will be placed there. High level security will be given for the foreign diplomats, even if it's a diplomat from Pakistan. Okay, so that we can avoid crisis. Okay. Now, when I say absolute immunity, when we saw the immunity for the president and governor, we saw that their immunity is only during the tenure. After the tenure, there is no immunity. But for diplomats, there is immunity even after their tenure. Diplomats are even called as official spies. Okay, sometimes they will be involving in an act which is not legal in that country. And moreover, what is the law in India? What is legal in India could be illegal in other country. What is legal in other country could be illegal in our country. So a diplomat may be doing something legal according to his country. Okay, just imagine, just before the class, I was reading the news about the US election. Okay, so two people from Virginia state has entered into Pennsylvania, where the counting is taking place with guns. According to law in Virginia, you can carry guns, but can carry only in the state where you are having license. But these two people have been arrested. They do not have the license to carry guns in another place. So if you ask them, why are you doing this illegally? They'll say that, see, according to my state, I've got license, so that is why I'm carrying a gun. I didn't know that, I should not be carrying a gun in Pennsylvania state. Likewise, a diplomat also, what is legal in their country may be illegal in another country, so he cannot be arrested. There are loopholes also. Okay, so 2 years before, Saudi Arabian diplomat, he was having sex slaves at his home. According to Saudi law, the bureaucrats and the diplomats can have sex slaves. It's not illegal. Okay. But in case of India, it is illegal. So Indian authorities wanted to arrest that person. Saudi Arabia said, no, he's a diplomat, send him back. Now he's back in Saudi Arabia, not arrested, he's free. There's another incident in which a Pakistani diplomat, not Pakistani diplomat, a Pakistani civilian was shot by the US diplomat. Now Pakistani officials wanted to arrest him, but the US government said that, okay, we'll take back him because he's a diplomat. You should not prosecute him. Now that person is living freely in United States of America. Now you may be asking, sir, is there no option? Because what if the diplomat is involved in a personal act? Okay, is murdered somebody based on the personal thing. The home country can waive the diplomatic immunity. Suppose an Indian diplomat goes to some other country and does a criminal act, and that country wants to punish the diplomat. They'll first request the Indian government, what shall we do with this case? The Indian government waives the diplomatic immunity. Automatically, the person can be prosecuted. So there was this case, Enrica Lexi case, which happened in the Kerala off coast. Yeah. So there is one question that UN also prohibits attacking of diplomat and embassy of other countries in our country. Is it in line with diplomat? Yes, of course. This United Nations law only. Okay, let me first explain. Okay. What I was speaking actually, I was distracted by the question. Right? UN, just wait. Okay. Okay, Enrique Galaxy case. Okay, that is what I was trying to explain. Fine. I just make a demonstration. So what happened is in Kerala off coast, there was an Italian ship. Okay, and there was a small boat where Kerala fishermen were there. Okay. Now the Italian Marines, that is army people, they shot the Indian fishermen and the Indian fishermen died. Now India wanted to try these two people, telling that how come you kill the fishermen, ordinary people? But the Marines told that, we thought that they are pirates. They're attacking the ship. So that is why we killed them. Okay, fearing for security, they've killed the ship. Fishermen seems. Now, these people are treated as diplomats, and Italy says that we will not allow the Indian government to prosecute them. Indian government is saying, no, no, we will prosecute the people because they have killed the ordinary people. Okay, how come the army can kill the ordinary people? If they are really sea pirates, then your action is right. But you didn't even inquire. You didn't even go for a warning shot. You didn't even give a warning not to come near the ship. You're directly killed. So we cannot agree with this. Okay. Now Indian government has requested the Italian government, okay, we agree. But give a diplomatic waiver. Tell that these people can be tried by us so that we can try them in the court of law. So even now we are debating with the Italian government. That is what I am saying. You may be involving in a crime. Okay. If the home country is giving diplomatic waiver, that person will be subjected to prosecution. So only when, in case of Italy, they'll think the Marines have acted in security to provide security for the ship. Okay, so that is why Italian government is defending. Okay, for Indian perspective, we say it is wrong. We don't agree, but they are defending because they are not waiving the diplomatic immunity because they feel that their people has to be protected. Now, very important. What if an Indian diplomat is doing a wrong personal issue? Now, whether Indian government will readily waive the diplomatic immunity. As per law, Indian government can waive the diplomatic immunity, but we will not do that because it will act as a disincentive for other IFS officers. Okay, even if it may be a personal reason, the Indian government will defend the action of the individual. For example, Gulbhushan Jadhav case. Okay, a person from India, he was arrested by the Pakistan security forces. His name is called as Gulbhushan Jadhav. Indian government is saying that he is working for India, but the Pakistani government is saying he's a spy. So we are claiming diplomatic immunity. Okay, Pakistan, even though they're not allowing, we are claiming diplomatic immunity. Now, even if it is a wrong thing, India will defend because we have to encourage other people to work for India. Whether it is diplomats or spies, we have to encourage them to work for India. So that is why no government will exempt the diplomatic immunity, waive the diplomatic immunity. So you may ask, sir, what if the IFS officers are doing wrong? Using this provision if they're involving personal crimes. That is why they are trained and appointed as officials only based on their character. Only if they have good character, they are appointed. Otherwise, no. Okay, next is, we'll be talking about Vienna Convention on consular immunity is partial. What is that? There was a case in which Indian diplomat Devyani Gobarkade was subjected to arrest in the United States of America. So there is two groups of people. One is diplomats and other people are consulars. I told you diplomats are those people who are maintaining relation with other countries, high-level officers. Consular officials are those who are working for Indians residing in the respective countries. For example, in USA, Indians will be residing. Their visa, passport, and other issues and all will be done by a consular official. A consular official takes care of Indians living in abroad. Likewise, in India, we have passport office. The passport offices are managed by the Indian Foreign Service officers. Okay, they will have consular immunity, meaning partial immunity. For a diplomat, no criminal or civil proceedings can be initiated, but a consular official, both criminal and civil case can be initiated, but prior information should be given to the embassy. If you just compare lower level officials, for example, in an embassy, we'll have higher level official. Then we have car drivers, people who cook, people who maintain the office, people who are in charge of administration. There are some people are selected in SSC, Staff Selection Commission, and they are appointed to the various embassies. Okay, so these people. So all of them will be considered to be consular officials. We cannot give diplomatic status to all the people working. We have hierarchy in office. So those people at the lower level are given partial immunity only. They can be arrested, they can be subjected to criminal and civil proceedings, but prior information can be given. However, in case of Devyani Kobrkade, it is wrong on the part of the US government to involve in that activity. Okay, they've arrested and also assaulted her, which is a violation of diplomatic rules. But despite India showing strong opposition, US did not even bother to answer. So India has to raise her capacity to a diplomatic official. India declared that she would be representative to United Nations from India. So immediately she was released and she was taken back to India and she was given legal protection in India. What happened, why they arrested, that is not said. Maybe it's an official secret. But the point is, even in that case, Indian government gave her a diplomatic status and ensured her release. Okay, so that is because friendly or unfriendly countries, diplomats has to be protected. Okay. I think after discussing this topic, many will want to become IFS. But remember, you will be trained and posted, given higher position only when you are a person of good character. Okay, so remember that. Okay, don't think that you can do anything and everything when you become a diplomat. You are more responsible. You are representing the country. Okay, you are responsible for the honor of the country. So you should not be in a position to do any mistakes, even the smallest of mistakes. Fine. Next important point is the 3 exemptions which we saw so far, like the exemption for the president and governor, the exemption for the legislatures, exemption under Article 31C, all of them are given in the Constitution itself. But this one is given in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. It is based on international agreement. India follows, all other countries follows, but because it is an international agreement. Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Okay. Next is waiver by home country, whether it is possible. Yes, it's possible. Absolutely is. Now, how they ask question in the prelims examination, they'll give what are the exemptions that is available for Article 14 under Indian Constitution, and then they'll give president and governor, legislator, 31C, and then 4th option is diplomatic immunity. Now, what you will do, since all are exemptions, you will say all 4 are exemptions of Article 14 under Indian Constitution. The key word is Indian Constitution. So in Indian Constitution, what are the exceptions given? Only 3 exemptions are given, that are president and governor, Article 31C, and the lawmakers. Okay. The diplomatic immunity is an exemption. It's not product of Indian Constitution. It is given in the International Convention. So this is how they play with words. For example, this year prelims question, there was a sentence. What was the sentence? The basic structure doctrine is defined by Constitution of India. Now we know what is basic structure doctrine, and we know that is related to Constitution of India. So immediately we'll put it is correct. Statement is correct. But the statement is wrong because the basic structure doctrine is defined by the judiciary. Okay, not by the Constitution. The word itself is not there in the Constitution. It is seen to be implicit in the Constitution, not explicit. Meaning implicit means indirect, explicit means indirect. So directly we don't have BSD, basic structure doctrine, in the Constitution. Implicitly it is there. We have also discussed on that, right? Okay, the implicit nature of basic structure doctrine. Now the second statement in the present year question, the Constitution provides for judicial review. See the wording, no? The first statement they said basic structure doctrine is defined by the Constitution. Second statement they're saying judicial review is provided for in Constitution. So now basic structure doctrine, we know the word is not there in the Constitution. The word judicial review is not there in the Constitution. As we saw already, Article 13 says whenever a law is violation of fundamental rights, it will be struck down by judiciary. Okay, with words only we are interpreting that it is a judicial review. Now when they ask judicial review is provided for in the Indian Constitution, the statement is correct. Because they have not used the word judicial review is defined in the Indian Constitution. They say it is provided for. So whatever is provided for can be direct or indirect. So judicial review is being provided for indirectly in Article 13. See the play of words, So even who's there smart in first question, telling that, okay, basic structure doctrine is not defined in the constitution, defined by judiciary. In second statement, they'll get caught. Second statement, they'll say, okay, judicial review is not defined in the constitution. So it is a wrong statement. No, it is correct statement because judicial review is provided for in Indian constitution. Okay, so you must be very cautious on the words. Everybody can answer. Okay, polity questions and economic questions will be easy, except that the wordings will, they'll be playing. You must concentrate on that. Then next immunity or next exemption is personal loss. Next exemption is personal loss. I'll explain. Okay, please, you can take note only after my discussion. Okay, don't be in a hurry to copy down. First is, what is a personal law? In India, criminal law is same for all. We have a uniform criminal code. Code and law is one and the same. Okay, I told you. So codification of law means you are putting numbers 1, 2, 3, section 1, section 2, section 3, like that. You are arranging the law. That is called as codification. So we will either call it law or code of law. Sometimes whatever is existing in multiple things, when it is made in under single platform, that is also called as code. So recently they used the word code for labor laws, because already there were many labor laws were existing. They compiled all those things and made the labor law short. Okay, so that is called as codification. That is also called as codification. So now we have a uniform criminal code. Criminal law is same for all of us, whether we are Christian, Hindu, or Muslim. Irrespective of the religion, all of them will be subject to same law. If you do murder, all of them will be given same punishment. No difference. But civil law, laws related to marriage, divorce, inheritance of property is not same. We don't have uniform civil code. We have different laws, civil laws for different religion. So this different laws for different religion is what we call it as personal laws. Okay. Now, the constitution demands that there should be uniform civil code. Right now, personal laws are there. Every religion have their own marriage law and property inheritance law. That is what we call it as personal law. But Article 44 in Indian Constitution says that there should be a uniform civil code also. For all religions, there must be same law for marriage and divorce as well as inheritance of property. Now we must know that personal laws, why Article 44 is there is because personal laws are based on religion. Personal laws are based on religion. And all the religions, almost all the religions speak about inequality of women, inequality of various sections, especially inequality of women. So if you see Christian personal law or a Muslim personal law or a Hindu personal law, always they are favorable to men and biased towards women. Okay, inequality of women. To my knowledge, to the most of the religions I've read Christian philosophy, Hindu philosophy, Muslim philosophy, Jain, Buddhist philosophy, the Parsis philosophy, the major religions of this country, Sikh philosophy also. Except for Buddhism and somewhat Jainism, all other religions speak of inequality of women. So the personal laws based on religion, is going to be inequality of women. It is a violation of Article 14. Because Article 14 says the right to equality. Right? So personal laws should be struck down by judiciary. It should not be there. But however, we find that personal laws is still existing. For example, Muslims, polygamy is still existing. Okay. Recently, only in Hindu law, they said that women also has equal right in ancestral property. Women also has equal right in ancestral property. They use the word co-parcenser, which means, see, earlier already they said you have equal rights in property, which means father's property, equal rights. Ancestral property means your grandfather property, great grandfather property. Grandfather property and great grandfather property, how it should be divided between men and women cannot be decided by father. See, simply if I am there, if I have earned some property, I can decide how the property should be divided with my children. I can give more property to one sibling. It's my wish. But if it is my father's property or my great grandfather's property, which I have been enjoying, I cannot decide how it should be divided between my son and daughter or between sons, between daughters. All will have equal rights. That is the difference. All will have equal. Now, earlier Hindu law said that the ancestral property belongs to men only. In Tamil, lot of cinemas they'll say, okay, Tata Sottu Peranukku dhaan appdinu. Yeah. So if there are people from other states, okay, the grandfather's property will be for grandson. Okay, so this has been traditionally followed in India, in Hindu religion. But in 2005, they are amending the act. They're saying that grandfather's ancestral property will be equally available for women also. So we have given equality of property of women already. That is, when the father's property is divided, you have to give equal portion for women also. In case father is denying to give some share of property, then the women can go to the court of law. Now, ancestral property also, women has equal rights. Okay, fine. So now triple talaq has been abolished. As you know, triple talaq has been abolished in Muslim, but polygamy is existing. Christianity, most of the laws has been reformed. Abortion laws has been reformed, and it's equal to normal act. Okay, they have to follow the general act. But in case of divorce, men can divorce women for any reason. Okay, even if the men thinks that women is not beautiful, or the woman is not getting up in time, or she puts the towel on the bed, for frivolous reasons, can be divorced. But women can divorce men, Christian men, only if he is involving in adultery. In all other cases, women has to go and abide by the husband. She cannot go to the court of law asking for divorce for any other reason, even for domestic violence. Okay, earlier, but now some reforms has been done, but this aspect, laws of divorce is unequal to women. Okay, now the point is, personal laws, even though they are against women equality or equality between castes, some laws are still allowed to exist because personal laws has to be implemented eliminated in future. Uniform civil code is a goal of the future. You cannot do it immediately because minorities may feel that their laws, their religion is being affected. And people do not give up their tradition easily. British people saw the wrath of Indian people only when they touched religion. 100 years, they're happily controlling the country. They control everything. They keep on adding more territories to themselves. People did not protest. Indians did not protest. But when they touched the religion, abolition of sati, child marriage was abolished. Widow remarriage was allowed by, there was a lot of act, 1829 Sarada Act, 1839 Act. Okay, so education gave equal rights for women in education. Then came the 1857 revolt. Okay. You touch anything of the person, even the property of the person, they say that even if you take the wife of the person, he will not be angry. But if you touch the religion of the person, he will be angry. It's still now relevant. It is relevant. Okay. So what happens is, the Indian government felt, the Indian constitution makers felt that, okay, religious matter, so it is a personal law, so let us do it slowly. Let's not hurry. So that is why in 44 they said, in a conducive time in future, let us implement the Uniform Civil Code. That is why the selective exemption. And that is why I put this exemption. Judiciary exempts the personal laws. Even though personal laws is against the equality of women, it is exempted by the judiciary. But remember, it is a selective exemption. What do you mean by selective exemption? It is blindly does not give exemption for all personal laws. Those personal laws which has to be changed, that's changed. That is why I gave the example. The Hindu law, okay, where equal right is given for women in ancestral property. Next, triple talaq. Okay, what is triple talaq? You utter the word talaq for 3 times, the Muslim men can divorce the Muslim women. That easy it is. One fellow, what he did, in WhatsApp, he sent talak 3 times as a text message. And then he sent a message to his wife, now you are divorced, stand divorced, because I have issued 3 talaks to you. The real triple talak is completely different. Okay, let's not go into the debate, but misuse. So that is why this came and they abolished the triple talak, which means you cannot divorce the Muslim women just by uttering the word talak. Okay, you should go for legal divorce as it is for every other Indian. So which means what, judiciary gives exemption to personal laws, but it is selective. Whichever personal laws is very bad, it's not appropriate to the present times, it has been removed and they go for it. Got it? Yes. Okay, now, yes, let me unmute 769.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. One small query here. As you said, the personal laws, the woman also having the equal opportunities in case of ancestor property. If I am a father having one son and daughter, I don't want to give any of my property to my daughter. I can give only to my son. Is it possible at the current situation? Or
It
the
is,
woman can go and file a case at the
yes,
court?
yes, women can fight a case if she feels discriminated. But the father in that case has to prove that the entire property has been earned by him. Then he can use his discretion. Sometimes the father might have developed the property from what the property received from the father and grandfather. Okay, in that case, appropriate right has to be given to the.
Okay, so let's take this example, sir. I have 100. Okay, I earned 50 from my ancestor, my father, and I earned 50 rupees. Okay, so I am planning to give only 100 rupees to my son. Now, how will it go, sir? If she files a case at the court, it will go as a 25 and 25, or how will it go?
uh, Logically, that 50% ancestral property, that will be, is an automatic right. Automatic right. And now when they're dividing the property, okay, if the parent has decided, okay, that the part which is earned by him and the parent also is true, then he can decide to whom the property shall be given. Now, supposing will is not there, I'll just tell you this. If I am the father, I'm just telling to my son continuously, everything belongs to you. But daughter also, you are clearly saying nothing is belong to you, but you have not written a bill, judicial bill, and the father dies. Now the property has to be divided equally. So if the
Okay,
father really wants that selectively he has to give property to his kids, he has to give a will. And hope now we are prepared to write a will, I think, the way you are asking questions.
no, no, no. Okay, sir. Yeah, got relevant info. Thanks.
Okay, so this is what. So we have 5 exemptions to Article 14. What are the 5 exemptions? President, governor, lawmakers, 31C, diplomatic immunity, and personal laws. The first 3 is Indian Constitution. Diplomatic immunity is in international. Personal laws is implicitly followed by the judiciary. Personal laws is an exemption given by judiciary, and it's not a complete exemption. It is a selective exemption. Okay, fine. Thank you. Next, there is another question. Yes, Ananagar 6983. Yes, can I unmute and speak? Yes, Shivapriya, can unmute and speak.
Good evening, sir. Sir,
Good
my
evening.
doubt is regarding this love jihad term is there, no, sir? For this, to prevent the forcible conversion of females to their husband religion, we can use Article 44 for implementation. Like that, one suggestion is given, sir.
No, no.
Yeah,
I'll
so
explain that. Article 44 says that the state shall implement uniform civil code. Only uniform civil code is permitted. Then you can prevent the force, like uh, no, we can do that. And moreover, I'll say, independent of this Article 44, you can penalize forceful conversion. There are 2 types of conversion: voluntary and forceful conversion. Already there are law existing in CRPC and IPC telling that if a person is forcefully converted and it is a violation of law. Voluntarily they are converting, then it's not a problem.
okay,
Now the
okay, sir.
problem is how to identify what is a forceful conversion. Voluntary conversion is difficult. So now the
Yes,
problem is
no female
there
will
is a
tell openly. That's what.
love marriage. Now you are generally male will say that you convert to my religion. No, in cases sometimes women are so adamant that they'll say you convert to one religion. Now for family's sake, for society's sake, they'll convert, but they'll be keep on practicing their religion. I have my close friend whose father and mother is belonging to two religions. One is a Christian, one is a Hindu. Okay, they have converted to the religion, but in their personal practice they practice their own religion. Okay, there is an understanding. So if you go and ask that person who was converted, have you been converted forcefully for marriage sake, they'll say no, voluntarily only I converted. Okay,
Yes,
because
sir.
family is more important than the law and the politics that is done in the name of religion. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now
So
even
already provisions are there for this preventing forcible conversion.
yes, even if you are converting by telling that job is assured for you, education will be given, money will be given, in that case also it is called as forceful conversion. Law says you will be punished. There's already law. Anti-conversion laws are there. Anti-forceful conversion laws are there. So this
Okay.
love jihad is just politics,
Yes,
They
sir.
just want to do politics. That's all. If they really want to stop love jihads, they can start up an organization and find out the real cases and convince those people who have been forcefully converted to give statement in the court of law that they have been forcefully converted. Okay, and then punish that person who's involved in forceful conversion. Even telling marriage is a thing for conversion is itself is a forceful conversion. Any inducement.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. So this is just anti-forceful conversion only, not anti-conversion simply.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all.
Fine. Done. Okay, so let's take a short break of 5 minutes. Okay, and then we will go to the next topic, Article 15. Okay, Article 15 also will be very interesting. Okay, fine. So let's break for 5 minutes. Yes. So we shall continue. There is a question, why Ambedkar wanted to implement uniform civil code. Is it possible now? Yes, 70 years of independence is gone. Okay. When we come to uniform civil code, article 44, I'll explain what are the impediments much more. Okay. What are the problems in implementing UCC and what is the possibility of implementing UCC? There is a possibility. Okay. And many experts have given a solution. So we'll discuss that in detail when we come to article 44 further in UCC. Okay. Fine. Now, there shall be no discrimination only on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth. Okay, so don't get confused with this addition. There shall be no discrimination only on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth. Now, you must underline the word only. Must underline the word only. What is the meaning of it? Only on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth, the state shall not discriminate. In other criteria, the state shall differentially treat people. Now you may ask this question, sir, what is the difference between discrimination and differential treatment? Suppose you are preparing for UPSC. A person is always talking negatively to you that you will not clear the UPSC like that. Okay, constantly. So now you are avoiding that relation of that person. You are avoiding the relation of that person. Is it discrimination? No. You are avoiding the relation with the person because of the behavior of the person. But if you are avoiding relationship with the person because of his race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth, then it is discrimination. That is why discrimination is you avoid relationship, you purposefully treat the person differently because of his social identity, because he belongs to a particular group, then it is discrimination. The word only, so you may be saying, sir, what else, in what else criteria state may differentiate? For example, state may differentiate you or differentially treat you based on age. For example, UPSC, age is a criteria for allowing you to take up the civil service examination. If you are crossing 32 and if you are in an open category, then you cannot take up this examination. Qualification is a criteria. You can say that you can become a doctor only when you have a qualification. Advocate also, you have to clear the examination in order to practice as an advocate. I think now, like based on attempt, based on age, based on qualification, people can be differently treated. Based on effort also, if you are giving more effort, more salary can be paid. If you are having less effort, less salary can be paid. Then the word only is also very important because only on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth, one cannot be discriminated. Now you may ask a question, sir, reservation is there. Reservation is based on caste. So is it not discrimination? Now, that is why Constitution says along with the caste, if you are able to add some more criteria like social and educational backwardness. Social and educational backwardness. Then we can provide or we can treat the caste differently. It is not discrimination. Purely based on caste, if you are differentiating people, then it is discrimination. But caste, those castes which are socially and educationally backward, can be given special privileges. Now, EWS category, economic criteria also. If there is a caste that is upper caste, and the people are poor, then they can be given reservation according to Indian Constitution. Same way, religion also. In case of religion also, you are socially and educationally backward religion, then special treatment can be given. In certain states, Muslims are having reservation. It's because among the minorities, they are socially and educationally backward. Now, interestingly, once the central government gave reservation for minorities, of course, not this regime, the previous regime, UPA regime. In 2014, they gave reservation for minorities. They also provided reservation for minorities in Andhra Pradesh. Now, both Supreme Court and Andhra Pradesh High Court struck down the reservation for minorities, because when you say minorities will be given special privilege, you are treating people differently purely based on religion. You're not seeing whether that minority religious groups are socially and educationally backward. So giving, for example, I would say Parsi community is there. Among the minorities, they are most advanced community. Okay, so they live in Delhi and Mumbai. And you find that, they are in major professions, whether advocate profession, the Supreme Court, you have luminant lawyers and judges from the Parsi community. In business community, Tata is from Parsi community. In military, okay, so there are two field marshals. One is General Kariyappa and another is Field Marshal Sham Manaksha. So Field Marshal Sham Manaksha is a Parsi. If you go to scientific institution like ISRO, Parsis play an important role. If you go to AIMS, All India Medical Sciences Institute, All India Institute for Medical Sciences, there also Parsis are playing the role. Disproportionate compared to its population, its contribution is more to the society. They are also at socially upper level. They are in a high level. So now, just imagine, no? If we give reservation purely based on religion, that is minorities, all the reservation places will be taken by Parsis. Likewise, Christians also, they are educated. Okay, comparatively, they're educated compared to Muslims. So definitely they're going to get the benefit. So reservation for minorities is wrong, because the special treatment is given purely based on religion. But reservation for Muslims is accepted because Muslim community is socially and educationally backward. Now you may ask, sir, how come backwardness is measured? Okay, so there are some measurements like literacy rate, infant mortality rate, like indicators are there, social indicators are there. Now in the social indicators, the social indicators which we are seeing, supposing the national literacy rate is 75 and the literacy rate of a particular community is 10% less or less than 75%, then it is called as educationally backward section. For example, the average national average for literacy rate is 75. For women, it is 65. So women are educationally backward. For Muslims, it is 45%. So they are educationally backward. Okay. So social and educational backwardness is decided by the indices. Okay, various indices. There is a big list of indices. The National Backward Class Commission has mentioned all these things. Okay, if you are going to see that one by one, it will take some 9 hours of session. Okay, that can be done like an expert lecture and all. Okay, but right now it's very difficult. Okay, so and that they will not ask in the examination also. So backwardness is measured by various indices only. Okay, fine. Now the next point is, okay, they're using the word sex. You must remember, okay, it is not sex, it is gender. Okay, at the time of 1950 when they wrote the constitution, they did not make a difference between sex and gender. Now, sexual differences are there between men and women. Okay, it is undeniable. But what is the problem is gender differences. Saying men are superior, women is inferior is the problem. I think somebody is not unmuted. Please mute, no? Shall I mute? Fine. And you people may ask this question, sir, race, we know there is a problem. Religion, we know there is a problem. Caste, okay, there is a problem in India. Gender problem also we know. What is this place of birth? See, we have inspired from the fundamental rights of American Constitution. Okay. Interestingly, Donald Trump always says we are against migrants coming to USA. America belongs to white people. We are going to make America great again. Okay, we don't want migrants from other countries. But white people itself is migrants from Europe. In case of USA, if you see, most of the settlers in USA are migrants from Europe, Spanish people, Portugal people, France people, German people, UK, mostly from UK, they are settled there. Only thing is they are the earlier migrants. Okay, it's fun what Donald Trump says. He himself is from migrant community. Only because he's early migrant, he's saying that migrants of the future should not come inside. And if you see now, wherever he has won, all are central states. If you see the map, now just Google and see American election. The map will come, and map they will show what are the red states where Republicans won, what are the blue states where the Democratic Party has won. You will see that white people, wherever white people are living, there they voted for Republicans. Wherever there is a mixed migrant population have settled and got American citizenship, there Democrats have won. Okay. Now, when these people from Europe, when they settled and started USA, when they created United States of America, there was a chance that you may be discriminated based on place of birth, telling that you are born in Germany, you are born in Spain, you are born in France, you are born in UK, like that. So that is why they brought in the concept place of birth. So in India, we adopted the same, not without a reason. We just not imitated the US people. In case of India, when we are establishing one country, there is a chance that a person is born in one state and is a resident in another state. So we all have that fate, right? We are born in one place and we have to study in one place and we have to work in another place. Okay, so that is the dynamics of the society. Okay, so you are always a migrant. So there is a chance that when a person moves from one state and settles in another state, he may be discriminated for place of birth. That should not be there. That is why we added the term place of birth. Now, interestingly, the Article 15 is against the state only, very important. It is against the state only. What do you mean by that? The Article 15 clause 1 is not available against private individual. I'll explain that. Now, suppose you are a private person and you prefer to marry within your religion. See, there is a right to marry outside religion, outside caste. Like that, if a person says, I will marry only within the caste, only within the religion. Whether it is constitutional, yes, absolutely, it is your preference. Preference cannot be called as a discrimination. So private people, if they are giving preference to a particular religion or caste in their private lives, it won't be considered as discrimination. Suppose and imagine a private individual is saying that in his house, okay, he wants to rent the house for a particular caste only. It's not violation of fundamental rights. They're giving preference. I'll give you one example. There are a lot of matrimonial ads, a lot of matrimonial ads. In that, you will find two kinds of ads. One is saying that, we prefer a bride or bridegroom from this particular caste and this particular religion. This is one ad. Okay. Let me give you another example. There is another ad. It says that caste no bar except scheduled caste. Now you tell me which one is discrimination, which one is preference, which one is discrimination. Yes, I'm waiting for your answers. Please chat. There is one person asked for repetition of the point. Repetition will be done, but at the end of the class, after 7:30, I'll sit and explain. Very good. Caste no bar except scheduled caste is a discrimination. The first one saying that, I will choose a bride, okay, of my caste, my family, my religion, is your preference, because your intention is not to hurt others, okay, but you have a preference, a choice, so you can give the preference. But if you say that, I'm okay with any caste, but scheduled caste I will not, then that is a violation. I'll give you another example. Suppose there is a private enterprise, a private company is there, and in this private company, they are saying this one, we will recruit only our caste people or our religious people. Now, can we file a case in the court of law? No. There are many companies, there are many institutions which give preferences to their own caste, their own family, their own religion. Okay, because it's a private enterprise. Only when government gives the preference, government says, I'll recruit from the one caste, I'll recruit from, because it's public institution. Public institution should be open for all. Okay, whereas private institution is exclusive for the private. They can decide what should be done with it. Okay, so you must remember discrimination when we speak Article 15, it is against state only, not against private individual. Now you may ask, sir, is it not immoral? Because UPSC aspirants, we would have faced that problem. I have faced that problem. Okay, we go to rent a house. Okay, they say whether you're a family or a bachelor. They say we are bachelors, sir. UPSC does not allow to marry early. Okay, it delays us to get married. Okay. They'll say that, okay, if you're a bachelor, I'm not going to give house. Say, so no, sir, we are preparing for UPSC. We need this house desperately. We cannot be at home. Okay. So can we go and file a case against that person telling that, he's not allowing bachelors here? And some houses they'll ask, okay, you're a bachelor, fine. Okay. Are you vegetarian or non-vegetarian? Okay. I have said, sir, I'm a strictly non-vegetarian, sir. I will say that then definitely no house for you. Get out. Okay. 100% there is no house for you. Can we file a case against them? It's their preference. It's their value system. There's a personal space. We cannot go and say that, you have to give a house for everybody. Like that, we cannot say. So Article 15 is against only state, not against the private individual. And, we can say that it's immoral or unethical, or we may say it's not good for the unity of the country. It's not good for the humanitarian principle. Under humanitarian principle, we can say it's not right. It's our personal perspective. But Constitution says only when the state differentiates people on the basis of race, religion, caste, sex, and place of birth. Oh. Now you are getting married. I'll go very core. Okay. Now you're getting married. Now we are saying that I'll get married. If you're a male, you're saying I'll get married to female only. You're a female and you're saying that I'll get married only to male. Can we call it as discrimination? Okay. Can a person come and say that, you are a female, you should give equal preference to men as well as women? No. That is where I'm touching. Personal preferences cannot be called as discrimination. But when you are preferring one person against another person, or that too, once again, based on character, it is not discrimination. As I told you first, if you are choosing one person as your tenant, as your family member, as your friend, based on character, and denying another person based on character, that is completely different. that is not discrimination. But when you do it based on caste, religion, race, then that is a problem. That is discrimination. Okay, done. Now I have to talk to you regarding social and educational backwardness. Okay, so just listen and parallelly take notes. Then only it will be interesting. Otherwise, it will be won't understand. I told you social backwardness, educational backwardness, economic backwardness can be the criteria to provide special benefits to people. That can be exemptions to people. But this economic criteria was added by 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act last year, 2019. From 1951 to 2019, for 70 years, almost 70 years, they said only social and educational backwardness shall be the criteria to give special benefits to a particular caste or a particular religion, like that. But in 2019, they are making an amendment telling economic backwardness is also there. So now I have to tell you, the reason why economic criteria cannot be criteria to provide benefits, that to long-term benefits like reservation exclusively. When we say reservation shall be granted only for social and educational backwardness. It cannot be granted to economic backwardness. To understand this, okay, I want an interaction with you. I'm going to ask you some crucial questions. Okay, 3 types of questions. You have to think and answer. What is the reason for social backwardness? Whether it is individual or social. When I say social backwardness, it's caste-based backwardness, gender-based backwardness. Okay, telling that one caste is superior, one caste is inferior, one gender is superior, one gender is inferior. That is called as social backwardness. The reason for social backwardness, whether it is society or individual. I've given you the answer. That is society. It's the society. Okay. Fine. Whether the social backwardness is static or dynamic, that is the next question. What do you mean by static? What do you mean by dynamic? Dynamic means the status will change. Dynamic, flexible. Okay, it keeps changing. Static means it will remain the same forever. So social backwardness, whether it is static or dynamic, static, very good. Okay, some people are saying it depends on both. Okay, I'll explain why it is static. Take the example of the President of India. The President of India is from Dalit community, scheduled caste community. He's entering into the temple. Now the puja is all done. But once the president leaves, this happened in 2017. Once he left the temple was washed and a special puja was offered. Yagna, they will say, Yagna was offered to purify the place. So even you can become the President of India, but your caste remains with you. You can become an IAS officer. You will be called as a Dalit IAS officer or a scheduled caste IAS officer. Even you become a film star. Okay, for example, day before yesterday, I was, this Kala movie and Kabali movie, okay, of Tamil Nadu. Okay, I was reading about various directors. Usually directors from Tamil Nadu has a social notion. Okay, they create films to create social upliftment, starting from Bharati Raja. So we can say Vijay's father. Okay, her favorite Talapati Vijay. His father also. Now today there is a controversy. If you watch his films, he would be talking about legal and constitutional problems. Okay, that is the unique selling point of Chandrasekhar, father of Vijay. Okay, and Pa Ranjit, but the point is Pa Ranjit is declared as a Dalit director. Okay, so whatever advancement you make, your caste stays with you. Okay, so that is why they say caste is static, social backwardness is static. Now, how much time it will take to change the caste-based backwardness? What is your idea? Yes. Okay. Somebody are saying 2 generations, it will take centuries. The sociologists are saying it will take centuries. And interestingly, there is one message. Ilayaraja was not allowed into the Sri Rangan temple, even though he donated a lot to the temple because he belongs to the scheduled caste. Okay, but he has denied. He's not so assertive of this, but that is the problem. Okay, so it will take centuries. So when something is static, when it will take a lot of time to change, who has to take responsibility to change the social backwardness? The state has to take, and through provisions like long-term benefits and other things. Now, educational backwardness. What is the reason for educational backwardness? Whether it is individual or the society? It is the society. Some may say, no, sir, it is individual. I agree. You don't prepare for civil service examination properly, you will not clear this examination. It's absolutely in your hand. Okay, tomorrow you don't come and blame the institute or blame the staff. Okay, it is your own responsibility. Agreed. But in India, many sections of the society have been kept outside the educational system. They were not allowed to take up the educational system. So it is the society the reason. And it is relatively static. Okay, it is relatively static. Why it is static? Because for educational status, no, for individual, you can change in your own lifetime. For example, you may be from a very ordinary family, but you write civil service examination, clear this examination, your education status goes up. You become an engineer, a doctor, or a graduate, and you are getting into government job or any other job. Okay, your education status is increased, your social status is increased. Agreed. But for the entire community to be advanced, entire group, caste or religion to be advanced, it takes a lot of time. In sociology, there is a theory called as role model theory. What happens is, for example, I'll take the example of yours. Supposing you are clearing this examination in the first attempt itself, your relatives will be waiting for that actually, whether you are succeeding or not. Supposing you are successful, they will send their children also for UPSC preparation, and obviously they'll send them to Shankar IAS Academy. That is how we expanded. We give results, relatives send the other people. But what if you fail? You didn't clear. No, they will not send your sisters or other people to take up the civil service examination. And they will tell you as the bad example. I told that fellow that time itself, it won't work out. It's very difficult. But that person only wasted. Now you learn lesson from him. Don't go inside the civil services. Your relatives will tell. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. In education, if somebody is successful from the community, immediately many person from that community will get into the education. They will take up education. They'll take up the other things. Okay, so now the point is, it will take at least 3 generations for entire community to get educational advancement. I think somebody is not agreeing with that. Yes, somebody has raised the hand. Where are you? Okay, I'll give you time. Once I complete Article 15, you can ask your doubts. Okay, I'll give you time. I'll explain to you. Okay. So educational backwardness also, it takes a lot of time. Okay, a minimum 3 generations as per the sociologists. So when it takes a lot of time, when it is something static, okay, the state has to take some measure immediately. They have to take some measure immediately. Then comes economic backwardness. What is the reason for economic backwardness, whether it is society or individual? It is the individual. Of course, social backwardness will result in economic backwardness, agreed. But socially advanced people also will be economically backward. But it is it is the reason for their individual problem. If you are not working hard, you cannot earn more. you will be economically backward. If you are working well, working hard, you will gain a lot. Dynamic. Meaning economic backwardness is dynamic. Today you may be a rich person. Tomorrow there is a flood, earthquake. Okay, you will immediately become a poor person. Suppose there is a corona epidemic. Okay, your business is closed. You become a poor person, economically backward. Likewise, you are a poor person, but suddenly a lottery comes, 5 crore rupees. How good it is, no? I'm wishing for something like that, even though I don't buy lotteries. Online rummy, many people are committing suicide because of playing online rummy, because they're hoping that someday they become rich. Yes, if there is a lottery, you become rich immediately. Or I would say that one can change his economic status in his one's own lifetime. I would like to give an example. A person, one of my neighbor, lost his job, okay, because of this corona. Okay, he was worrying in those times, in the month of April. He's not able to feed his family. Okay, so he was asking assistance from the neighbors. Okay, so I gave one suggestion, because usually for any function, anything, they would share food with us. We will also share food. Any special food we cook, we will share with them, and especially during festivals, birthdays, and all, we share it. And the food from their family, will be very good. So I just said, just cook biryani, okay, and make parcels. And these corona times, people cannot afford so much of money. And there is a nearby chicken shop also. So I said, talk with the chicken shop fellow and get chickens for chicken for a lesser price, and just sell biryani for 40 rupees and 80 rupees. And the entire market is selling it for a higher price. Now you do it for this. Have a limited packet. Just write it is homemade on the top of the parcels, and cover it with the aluminum packet. You need not keep it open, because when it is open, people do not buy it. Corona issues. You just pack it very hygienically, and that is homemade and hygienic. And just place your bike before the big apartment. Actually, before my house there is a big apartment. 1,200 families are living. Okay, you just stay there, okay, for 3-4 hours. 3 hours for cooking, 2 hours for packing, and 3 hours for selling. And he earns around 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per day. So imagine for a 10 days, okay, it is around 3,000 rupees. For 30 days, it is around 1 lakh. Okay, when he was working in a company where he lost his job, he was earning 20,000 per month. Now he's earning 1 lakh per month, and that too he works only 6 hours to 7 hours per day. Earlier he was working for 12 hours per day in a company. And simple, whatever the period is, if you are able to assess the market demand and supply what the market is requiring, you can change your economic status. It's individual. It's absolutely individual. One's own life, you can change within 2 years, 3 years, you can change your situation. But however, economic backwardness has been added by the constitutional amendment last year. They have challenged it in the court of law. I'm for sure it will be nullified by the court of law. Okay, because social and educational backwardness is something temporary. Economic backwardness is short. You may be saying, sir, economic backwardness, of course, there are people are suffering, yes, all those things. I'm not saying those who are economically backward should not be supported. And even for that logic, polity says that economically backwardness should not, economic backwardness also should be supported, but they have to be instantly supported. Listen to this point, instantly supported. Today you are poor, the government has to give food at a subsidized rate. Government has to provide you with health and education for the poor people today. You cannot give long-term solutions like reservation. Today you are poor, because see, this happened. I can quote 2 people, I don't want to name them. There was person A and person B who was preparing for civil service examination. Person A is a very rich person in the childhood, getting all the benefits from the family. What is the ultimate aim of reservation? During childhood, you have not got education or health facility, so you have been compensated with the reservation. Now, in case of economic, no, a person may be very rich, getting all the benefits. Just before he comes to write civil service examination, the family faces with a sudden loss. The person becomes economically backward. Their income becomes less. So now this person will be eligible for reservation. Okay, I'm fine with that. Now, just imagine a family is poor in their childhood. So a person is not receiving proper education, proper health facility, proper social facilities. Okay, throughout the life struggle. Just before writing civil service examination, some fortune for the family. His father has developed a good business. Okay, or a court case is won so that they are getting back their property. Now this person immediately comes under creamy layer, or we can say that he is no more economically weaker section. Now this person is family is earning more than 8 lakh rupees. They will not be eligible to get EWS reservation, economically weaker section reservation. Got it? Okay. So what happens is those who are deserving is not getting reservation. Those undeserving is getting reservation. Which means economically backward should be supported by the state instantly today. Don't wait them to suffer for long, and after that tell that when you become 21 years, okay, in education, in jobs, I'll give you reservation. Now, social and educational backwardness cannot be addressed instantaneously. That is why the piecemeal measure or reservation is given. Now, I will give you one more small example. Okay, supposing you are belonging to the upper caste, okay, and your family is earning more than 8 lakh rupees. See, this example is sarcastic example, okay, to tell how fallacy, how wrong it is to give reservation for economically backward section. You can give benefit to economically backward section, not reservation. So listen carefully. Supposing your parents are earning more than 8 lakh rupees, your family is having an income more than 8 lakh rupees. Only your father is earning, not your mother. Your mother is a homemaker. Now, before writing the civil service examination, 1 year before, you ask your father and mother to divorce. Go to the only legal divorce, don't be shocked. Only legal divorce. Legally, you go to the court of law, get divorce. But they can stay together. Okay, nobody is going to ask. If you're legally divorced and still staying in the same home, the court is not going to come and ask. Court is not going to come and see to your home whether you're living together or not. So now you get a legal divorce, and then what you do is you get a certificate from Tahsildar that you are a single dependent son or daughter. That is, you are dependent on your mother. Your mother is a homemaker and your mother's income is 0. Okay. So your family income is now less than 8 lakh. Now you are eligible to economically weaker section. Right? Civil service examination, recently conducted civil service examination. Prelims cutoff for EWS category is less than that of the SC/ST. Okay, in interview they have scored well. That's a different story. Now you become IAS officer based on EWS category. Now you call the entire family and conduct the marriage of your father and mother. Nobody's going to question. Once at the time of writing civil services, you are EWS category. Oh, what is there? Okay, this I'm telling you. Okay, not for you people you misusing it, to tell as a society how it is a problematic to use the economic criteria. Yes, there is a hand raise. Okay, so I'll answer the question. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, I just had a small query. Like I have another situation in my mind, sir. I think this situation is also found many times during real life also. For example, I've also seen a couple of my friends whose parents, one of their parent is a IAS officer and another parent is a doctor. But both of them belong to a scheduled caste. But they have everything that they need to prepare for any exam or to get inside any college or school or job or whatever it is, but they still, I always feel that they tend to steal a person's another person's reservation opportunity. For example, there can be really a person who is, scheduled caste and not able to get even this opportunity. So isn't it fair when, people or the law combines economic, social and educational backwardness together and then proposes something which is, acceptable to everybody, where, as you said, people cannot use just these loopholes to get their reservation, as well as people who have good background but just a social backwardness to use reservation, no, sir.
Agreed. Agreed. 100%. Okay, it is agreed. The government parliament has given an explanation for that. Judiciary also, the government has submitted the explanation for this. Okay, I agree that keep on the same family cannot be getting reservation. That will take away the reservation benefits for other people in the same caste and truly deserving people. But as I say, caste does not change in a generation. Okay, and if you say uh, uh, when one family or one generation gets reservation benefit, other generation should be not benefited. This principle they are applying in OBCs. In OBCs, once a person get an IAS, IPS, the son and daughters of the OBCs who have got reservation will be considered to be creamy layer. They will not be granted. Now, SC and ST still they have not applied this principle, because if we apply creamy layer concept to the SCs, telling that one generation you got reservations, so next generation will not. What happens? We will have no people from that community to take up government jobs. That's the reality. Because from scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, not much of them have got the basic minimum qualification to clear the government exams. You need at least degree, right? So if you see the gross enrollment ratio of SCs, it's less than 2%. Meaning, out of 100 SCs who are passing 12th standard, only 2 will get into college. Now, if you see how many of them who are completing primary education will enter into the next level, that also is very less. Let me complete. Let me complete. So what happens is, I agree that you have to keep a check telling that 2 generation, 3 generation, but one generation will result in a situation that there will be no more people representing from that community. So now we cannot have people from all. So as a temporary measure, we are saying for SC, ST, no creamy layer. Okay, from these categories, let us allow them to enjoy the benefits of reservation 2-3 generations. There must be some check, I agree. The law has to be reformed. But only one generation, if you are saying, there will be no enough number of people from that community. In OBC, if you apply the concept that one generation is getting benefit, next generation should not get benefit, still there will be people available from that community. Okay. We will discuss further in Article 16. Okay, when we exactly come to reservation in jobs, I will give you much more explanations and data which is given by Parliament and the court. Okay, so as to understand why this exactly reservation is going on till now.
Okay, sir.
So yeah, any doubts, further doubts?
No, sir. No, sir.
We will further discuss Article 16. We'll say what is the difference between private job and the public job, why reservation should be there, why economic criteria should not be there. You will further understand when we complete Article 16.
Okay, sir.
I know some of you will get a feeling that why is it's injustice, why one person is affected. For example, in my first attempt, I scored 1098 marks completely, mains as well as interview together 1098. Okay, and what happened is the results came. I did not clear. A person who has scored 30 marks less than me is a IAS officer now. Okay, now I would say that yes, I am affected, but when it comes to the conflict between individual interest and the social interest, as a bureaucrat, we have to stand for the social interest. So when it is benefiting for the entire country, individual interest, when it is affected, we will have to accept that compromise. Of course, I agree. Many people individually is affected because of reservation system. There's no question on that. But when it comes to individual problem versus the problem of the society, we have to give due representation for all sections of the society. In that way, reservation is allowed. We will further discuss. Okay, you will have a lot of questions. I know you have a lot of questions. Okay, So let us complete Article 16 and any question on reservation, then I will take. Okay, so that you will also will be asking informed questions, and more doubts will be clarified in the discussion itself. There is another question. Yes, Shivapriya, can unmute and speak.
Good evening, sir. Sir, my doubt is regarding subsidies as well as reservation. Government is always having some hesitation because of vote banks, I guess. Uh,
Agreed. Agreed.
so,
Agreed. You
yeah,
are right. I'll talk about that also.
okay, sir.
Talk
And for
about that also.
subsidies also, that is the true reason, no, sir? Sometimes, maybe the electricity.
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Vote banks. For example, big
Discounts.
farmers, small farmers, they actually support big farmers than the small farmers because big farmers form the voting bank. I'll discuss that through the polity class, when they're giving some interesting facts and reality about the Indian polity. Understand that. The reservation have some problems, some issues in it. As I said, no, for SC and ST, they can say for 3 generation you can enjoy reservation, not after that. Or 2 generation you can enjoy reservation, after that, no. But they're hesitating to say that because it will backfire for the government.
Yes, yes, sir.
We will discuss that also.
Yes, sir. And also, if possible, while explaining reservation, can you please explain about the tribals also, sir? For rights for tribals can be easily forgotten, but not for SC. So why that discrimination? Because voice of the tribals is not heard properly.
Not like that in India. SC and STs, no, they're equally treated. Like no, like SCs, we are saying no creamy layer. STs also no creamy layer. ST, that is the beauty of Indian democracy. ST population is very small, just 8%. But still, okay, Indian polity gives them due recognition. We are not taking reservation for them, and we are giving a lot of subsidies, scholarships, and a lot of benefits for the tribals. Okay, that is because despite of their small strength, we don't worry about the vote bank, and whatever reservation given, they are not tweaking it. That is because of
That's
vote
okay.
bank.
Yes, sir.
But
It's not
at the
percolating
same
inside.
at the same time, the Indian government is also, our Indian constitution is also concentrating to a minority. Tribals, despite of being a minority, they're given special. And even scheduled caste, if you take scheduled caste is just 15%. Okay, they don't constitute a big group in order to be a strong vote bank. Can be easily defeated in any constituency. But still, the government is very careful or cautious about the protection of the scheduled caste. That is because we are not always vote bank oriented. We are also social justice oriented.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. That's all.
that's good. This batch is very active. Okay, like, the questions are very sharp and to the point. Good. Okay. So economic backwardness is that why I have to stress this. Now there is a case in the court of law telling that economic backwardness cannot be criteria for providing reservation, but it could be a criteria to provide support to the people. Okay, because economic backwardness has to be treated then and there. It's just like a wound in your body. Suppose you're getting hurt, a cut in your body, immediately that should be healed, right? So economic backwardness is like that. But social backwardness is something which is hurt in your mind and heart, which cannot be immediately treated. It should be treated in a long-term way. Fine. Okay. Then yes, there are exemptions to this rule. Okay. So right now I'll wind up the class. Okay. So let's see the exemption today. Tomorrow we have very important discussion. Okay. We'll be having a discussion on Article 15 exemptions, 16, Article 17, 18, and 19 and 20, 21. All are very important articles. The crux of Indian Constitution and polity is in these articles. Okay. So I personally request all of you to be present in the class tomorrow. Tomorrow we have class from 2 to 7:30. I said 2 sessions we have. Okay, so please be in the class. We'll have interesting discussion. So now I will take up certain questions, except reservation. I'm reserving the reservation-based questions for tomorrow's class. Okay, so after that class, you can ask related other things. You can discuss now. If you want, you can ask. We'll enter into the question answer session now. Okay, what is the 103rd Amendment Act? Is nothing but the act which brought economic criteria also for reservation. Okay, so one of you has so kind of you has asked, said, I'm not getting any doubts. Uh, Am I losing anything, or should I think more? Say, if you won't have doubts in two scenarios. One is when you have understood completely, or you have not understand anything. So if you are understanding whatever I'm saying and you are a fresher, you are on track. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry if you are don't having questions. Okay, fine. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. So one more person is saying, sir, I am not able to connect the dots. Don't worry. That is why I said tomorrow's explanation. When I explain Article 16 also, then you will get the understanding. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. Don't worry.
Hello,
Vinisha,
sir.
yes, you can unmute and speak.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Sir, I have come across one line in Lakshmikant, sir. Can you please explain that, sir?
Please.
Sir, it said like Indian Parliament is not a sovereign body like the British Parliament.
Yes. That is because, in case of UK, whatever Parliament says is final. There is no judicial review. Judiciary cannot review the law created by Parliament. So the Parliament is sovereign, which means it is the ultimate authority in UK. But in case of India, when Parliament says something, when Parliament creates a law, it can be struck down by the judiciary. Judiciary reviews it.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
So
Sir, I have another
constitution.
question.
Please.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, I've completed the answer. You can ask the question. Next question.
Okay, sir. Sir, we in our country we don't have dual citizenship, right, sir?
Yes.
Whether any other country has this dual citizenship and why that is there in other countries, sir?
Yes, as I told you, USA has that dual citizenship because USA is a place, land of migrants.
Okay,
People
sir.
from Europe, no, in 17th and 18th century, 16th, 17th, and 18th century, they slowly started settling in USA. USA was, very large, big land with small population. The Red Indians, no, Aborigines was there. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
when USA was discovered, many people settled there. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
they wanted dual citizenship. They wanted to be citizen of one of the countries of Europe as well as USA.
Okay.
So usually friendly countries and land of migrants will go for dual citizenship.
Mm, okay, sir. Sir, and I have I come across this in newspapers, sir. What is the difference between police and judicial custody, sir?
Okay.
Specific
See,
cases.
very good, very good. In the recent time, no, there is an example of Tuticorin double murder case by the police. So if you keep the person under custody for a longer period of time, the police can easily use violence and so incentives and threats to make people accept their crime.
Okay, sir.
So a person cannot be kept under police lockup for long. Police custody or police lockup is maximum 15 days. After 15 days, the person has to be put under judicial custody, which means sub jail, where warden will be in charge. Even if the investigation officer wants to inquire on the individual, they will be allowed to inquire, but in the presence of warden, so that the investigation officer is not able to threaten or use violence or use incentives to make people accept the crime. You watch this Visarani film, no? Tamil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is a good example. It is called as
Yes, yes.
Stockholm syndrome. When you keep the custody of a person for a longer period of time, you can convince the person to believe you. Okay,
Yes,
and the
sir.
person will treat you as a trustable person. Okay, so that is why police custody maximum 15 days. After that, there should be judicial custody. They won't ask this type of questions in examination. However, to become an officer, you need to know all these nuances. Good.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
SIAAD 2053765. Can unmute and speak.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
So my doubt is, so with is Article 15 a negative right with respect to state?
Of course, with respect to state, it's negative. Good, that's a
But
very good understanding. Good.
yes, sir. So, but it has to define the social and education backwardness, right, sir? So there is a state action there, right, sir?
Yeah, that exemption is positive, but Article 15 per se is negative. The exemption, the social and educational backwardness is the exemption. So the exemption is positive, but the article as such is negative.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Good, good. Interesting. Okay. Getting intellectual questions from you. Nice. Good. What is your name?
Vamshi, sir.
Munshi.
Vamshi. Vamshi.
Mamshi.
Yes, sir.
If it is Munshi, the question is relevant because Munshi is one of the persons who drafted the constitution. K. Munshi.
Yeah, yes, sir. I remember.
Good, good. Mamshi, what is the meaning of the name?
Vamshi, it means something like flute or something.
Your voice resembles that, so it's an appropriate name for you.
Sir.
Good, good. That's
Yeah,
fine,
sir.
Mamshi. Hope I meet you soon. You're from
Yes,
Adyar,
sir.
from IIT?
Yes, sir.
Adyar mostly IIT students only.
Yeah,
Good,
some
Mamshi.
of them. Yes.
Of course. Let's meet as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure, sir. Even I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. The Corona and the government grace location.
Yes, sir. We are curious to meet you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you.
Yeah, that's it, sir. No more questions.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. So there is a question. Is there any time period that is mentioned for abolition of caste system? No, nothing like that. Social reform take a lot of time. You cannot mention a time. Then another person has asked a question. Uniform civil code is to be enforced. Then some acts like Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Special Marriage Act should be repealed. No, actually these are way to social reform, way to uniform civil code. Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Special Marriages Act are the way to uniform civil code. Okay, so it is actually a good start in the right direction. Good start in the right direction, I would say. We want such reforms in other religions also. Okay, so Hindu religion, they have did this reform. It is a pioneer thing. We have to wait for the other things also. Okay, that's it. I think so I will leave for the day. Okay. So we'll meet tomorrow. Okay. Please do attend tomorrow's session. We'll have a good discussion tomorrow.